Hi, I'm Ariel Italic, and you're watching What the Font? It's my weekly show where I pick a topic and talk about it whether or not I know anything or have anything to say. Just like wrestling, but something else. This week I'm talking about video games. As you've probably noticed in some of the Nobody's Watching Wrestling videos, I make references to video games like Skyrim or Kingdom Hearts or whatever the fuck else I talked about, who remembers? But the point is, I do play video games and I enjoy them. I'm a big fan of a long, sprawling RPG, though when real life interjects I may or may not give up in the middle. I like a Metroidvania quite a bit, so if you've got good recommendations for those, and don't hit me with like an Axiom Verge or a Guacamelee, because I've been there, done that. I need a deep cut. I have played them all. What I enjoy about a subquest-laden RPG or a Metroidvania is something that I think is pretty common to people who love video games, which is that you are assigned a task, or given something that initially seems impossible to complete, and then going through the correct steps, finding the right items, doing the blank thing, you then accomplish a seemingly insurmountable goal. You feel a sense of achievement at having done it, and also a sense of growth at having figured out how to find the item or use it in a different way or follow the path or what have you. There's a real progression element, and that is deeply, viscerally satisfying, especially when your own life can be fairly mundane and routine. I'm going to wake up and do the same job every day, and no one's going to give me a side quest or reward me for fulfilling one. Side note, character design screens. I love having a million options, but as a drag queen, we're all trying to make someone who looks like ourselves, right? Like, do you do that? You're like, oh, I want to make me, but in this game. So you get a Skyrim, and you're like, what does the me in Tamriel look like? And so you're like, well, I guess I'm maybe a high elf, but then I'm like, maybe I'm making me in drag. And it gets real dicey real quick, because there's only male and female options, and some of them don't get the same facial features or hair options that you'd really like. So I'm trying to like masculinize the lady high elf face, but then trying to figure out how to do some sort of shading or contour. Like, do they not have bronzer in Tamriel? We have magic, but we can't make a bronzer? It gets real dicey real quick, and I have never gotten it just right. If there are drag queen modders out there who would like to make some sort of high drag in Tamriel addition to the character design screen, it would help me personally. Is it possible to play as a drag queen? Which open world game has the best gender options in character design? Comment below. I also enjoy a platformer on occasion. I'm not above a platformer. In real life, I don't do a lot of running and jumping, so it's nice to make someone do it for me on screen. Look at Lara Croft. So fit from all that running and jumping. Wish I could be like her. Though I will say I did not finish Rise of the Tomb Raider. There's that final level where there's a helicopter and you have to shoot a thing next to the helicopter, and it just got really intense and aggravating, and I gave up, and I'm not ashamed of it. That is a part of video game culture that I fundamentally do not understand. There is a Dark Souls subset of people, not that they have Dark Souls, they play Dark Souls. They really enjoy games like that that are punishing and aggressively hard, and you have to get good so that you can beat the game. See, I don't get good, and I also don't necessarily see the fundamental virtue in doing so. Now, if you are good at these types of video games, what that means is that there is a very quick connection between your eyes and your brain and your thumbs. Those reflexes are working very fast, and that is impressive to a point. There's just a lot of ground between being good at video games and being good at literally anything else in the world. Like, it is different to win Street Fighter 2 than to win a Street Fighter 2, if you catch my drift. I don't grasp the inherent sense of superiority that some people feel because they are better at video games. It took me a while to accept that I sometimes play video games on easy mode, and that's okay. Now, it might be tempting at this point in the video to make that a real-world analogy. Like, it's okay to accept the easy mode of your life and yada yada and self-care. But the truth is, it's the opposite. The reason that it's okay to play on easy mode is because it's just a fucking video game, people. In the real world, doing the thing that is more difficult because there is a virtue behind it is often very valuable. Working harder to achieve an improved goal actually has merit. Along the same lines, practicing for hours and hours and hours to refine a real-world task is very important if you are attempting to get better at a craft and to excel at something. The problem is, thinking that that works in a video game to better the rest of your life is inaccurate. Again, video games are a facsimile of the real world in which we pretend that we have achieved things even though no impact has been made on our actual lives. If I want to play on easy mode, it's because I'm escaping my responsibilities. I'm avoiding all the places where I can't make any kind of an impact, or I tried and I failed, or something else got in the way, whatever. I have done enough real-worlding, and now I need a virtual world where I can force everyone to go a little softer on me because I had a bad day. If you like hard video games, keep playing them. Go ahead and grind away for hours at that giant boss who's killed you a million times. It's fine. Just know that you are not superior to others because of it. The fact that I play my game on easy mode doesn't change the fact that I'm better at makeup than you. And look, you're better at something else than me. That's life. Just don't confuse games and life. That said, I'm not gonna pretend that there's not a dent in my coffee table from when I threw my Switch controller on it in a full rage. I don't even remember what game it was from. But look, as long as you're not a dick about it, we can still play video games together. Not online with, like, my Switch ID or whatever. You're not gonna know when I'm online playing my video games, because that's my goddamn business. Just, like, in a general spiritual sense, we are playing video games together. Anyway, if you've ever got a good recommendation for a game for either Nintendo Switch or PC, please let me know. I can always be reached on Twitter, or you can comment below this video, or you'll figure out a way to find me. I'm available. I'm Ariel Italic. You're whoever you are. This is What the Font, and we're done here. Mwah!